Jinja Nato de Japunjumba, Sergio Lumbo, Tabra Jibago, Shukji Jabu Jodongo Zanda, Dorjan Janjan de Lo Naro Dama Bamala, Juja Gampopa, Pamotrapa, Jawan Dugum, Kajola Manam Jadajo, Danan Zera Tamjada, Lama Labula, Jesus, Lazan Yundin Jamzong Alav. Tindu Tunjan Rebagala Zur Dagalo Chison Rovar Sinja Labdo Zur Chio Lamdan Rovar Sinja Labdo Landrova Zavara Sinja Labdo Zur Drova Yizun Javar Sinja Labdo Zur Tinjan Zavala Maji Kuson Doja Sinanda Dagi Julan Pede Dagi Timba Dan Sinjin Jadon Jajin Pondra Para Sinja Labdo Zur All right. Then, then da perna counter yang da give a chu can revete sendala yang chere name sunam tang lomchu la soba pewa tang de zama seba ge je 做持续的这这这累积了三节呀个等于他缺的就是吧等于得到个单不去这边了等于tun军中吧啦说吧参嘛等于单不去了用可有吧意思
So, in brief, by practicing the 10 virtues, then this ensures that even in this life, we create the causes for longevity and freedom from illness, an abundance of virtue and merit, and favorable conditions, or our merit and enjoyments increase. And not only that, but the practice goes towards, or we end up creating causes for Buddhahood, even in a single lifetime, in a single body. So the supreme method for achieving that, or the way to do this, is really this is all comes about through the gathering of favorable conditions brought about through Dharma practice, or it is due to the favorable conditions of the sublime Dharma. So all of this comes about through the conditions of the completely perfect Dharma, or an abundance of Dharma.
Then parado chimba joson that is already in the namjuni nga so go no yore ten to train misake tanda hitra hyogoya chaka yomar to sugan dang mo tanda inza ta gangtar 산지에 좀 된데 그 숨분 동화 용수조 그 추처 유용수조 바데 파르도 침바 쪽는도 그 요래.
So then the next list are the 6 perfections. So of course today, because we're short on time, ordinarily we could go through these one by one and expound on each. But because we don't have a lot of time, then we'll just have to go through them fairly quickly. But in any case, all of the Buddha's teachings, in fact, everything that can be found in the sutras, the entirety of Dharma itself really can be subsumed into the single practice of the 6 perfections.
일단 8신 번데 가두이나 말한서 까치는 톰도 요라 디콜라 데니 디원데 다 동반이 탐제에서 다 돈이 뛰는 바드 돈이 주로 돈이 든줄라 서버거네 뛰는 밤고 요러와 대장 데니 장초 그 추 tarate sumchi tsabdun si yore tene ta lu timbanya ya tene zumchar chi kamba ya wambo nga top nga janchub yinla dun palan yinla je se ta zen ta tso tamji yungtin na ngarang so lam gom yum bakap so nga he lam te ke meng cha de yor nga he lam gom de so la nyam nyong ke ti nyam to ke yungtin le cha re da tso ta na zidang te tso yang rempe top re 대연데 따라 레레기는 효과야 차가 말해.
So in any case, you always hear much on the topic of the six perfections or paramitas in the context of many teachings. And then it also mentions it says all emptiness, all the emptinesses. So for instance, developing certainty with regard to the 16 types of emptiness or the 70 types of emptiness and so forth. And then next is mentioned the factors of Bodhidharma, or the factors of awakening. So this is referring to the 37 factors of enlightenment, which include the stages of the four foundations of mindfulness, the four perfect abandonments, the four legs of miracles, and so on and so forth. And so there are many labels or names that are that designate the different demarcations or stages of development on the path. And so as one's experience it deepens, or as one's experience and realization develop through the progressive state, through practice and on the progressive stages of the path, then each of these different levels that are mentioned kind of correspond with the different stages of development.
Teni parchin trok so teni ngima za nyima ji langa ji he ba yin so char ni na de yo ro teni jancho chok su chu sum ji za dun de yang jima ji la mi sa wen ka ka le hyuna de sa re teni ta jancho chok su chu sum ji za dun de ko la jima ka le ka ka le hyuna de yo ro
So then with regard to the six perfections, actually Khenpo said he did teach on this one Sunday some time ago. So those teachings are available. So you could listen to his teachings on the six paramitas, the six perfections. And then when it comes to the 37 factors of enlightenment, maybe in the future, he says he can teach specifically on that, as a special occasion in itself. We can go into greater detail regarding the different stages of the 37 factors of awakening, or the 37 factors of enlightenment, at another time.
Teni papa dimba yadang. Teni something yadang. Zumi ga nyom jo yadang. Teni nga ga meter mizi wang jorji ti se da tela soba. Tamje ta sama yongkong da de dambe chu cha de yo du de sama dambe chu ge yong din cha de yo ri song. Marang zo sangje go ai na nyam to ju le jian sangje go ro wa. Den de dan de zo tamje lam sa ge yong din lam ge yong din cha de yo ro wa.
So then there are the Four Noble Truths, and the 4 levels of concentration, meditative concentration, the form realm concentrations. Then there are the absorptions of the 4 formless absorptions. And then mentioned also are the ripening and liberating secret mantra, which ripens through the ripening empowerments and liberates through the liberating teachings. And so these are all essentially all of the qualities and stages of the path that make up the perfect Dharma or express the quality of perfect Dharma. So this is what is needed in order to, if we wish to reach this state of Buddhahood, then we have to progress through the stages which cause us to develop these perfected qualities. And so all of the stages, all of the qualities on the progressive stages of the path, throughout the progressive stages of the paths and bhumis, are represent or express the quality of a perfect Dharma.
That's what Tama Medo Jigla Tani Dhamma Tan Yeptang. Kadola sobake zipar chiki yorba meto sirat te tawke tani tambe chuki yungtin chad yore tani lakpar de tarangan so nga ke mindr shibate sangha dorje tikba shibate cheji luji la sanje be tap mang song kawa mi ba si te tawke tani do parsin te bologla karchin trami somla chosa ne teni sangje go yorite teni nga lami ge lamla tindu cheji lujigla sangje doba te tabe thalam chod chuba yore.
So all of these different aspects of the path and the practice are like the different features of a beautiful flower. So just like a flower, has its individual petals and the different sort of attributes of its features, the different sort of shapes and colors and forms that that contribute to the overall appearance of the flower. In the same way, this is like the qualities, the kind of diverse expressions and qualities of sublime Dharma. And in particular, the ripening and liberating features of Tantra, or the Vajrayana practices and teachings, which have the ability to cause one, or to through practicing the Vajrayana, one has the ability to achieve fully perfected awakening in a single lifetime in a single body. As is said, secret mantra is the path of many methods, and is accomplished with relatively little difficulty. Whereas on the other hand, in the causal or the path of sutra, or the Sutrayana approach, is said to take 3 limitless eons or kalpas, 3 immeasurable kalpas, before one is able to reach the state of Buddhahood. Whereas the path of secret mantra Vajrayana is the swift path by which one can attain fully perfected awakening in a single lifetime in a single body.
Ta mizi ke wang ye delatin ta torzi ke thi na del ramba tani tara jude na javeju namjerju jubeju namjerju namjer lamiju se jude de la koran yoba koran tamje yang ta nyamni chi ndu tani ga hela che pen jabe ju yin chu dang zang da la so ba zo ji ne teni rampe nyam sling go teni ya dan nam jo lam mi ge ju la lap cha de teni cholo ge che chu da zang da la so ba zo ma yan ba nang ge sim ni de ko na ni la teni de de teng ni ta nyam ni na wa jo de ta ba dang teni ji rem dang zo rem si teni tso ji zo ge nyam ni kap so teni ben za dang long dang ti le teni de tham je za wu ma na xiu ba ne ba ten ba la so ba dan ra ge to ne teni nyam ni na dang dan ra song yong ge yo re de tham je san ji ge chu ge yong di re so yong bi jin sin de sang je ya ge jo re wa
And so the ripening empowerments ripen through the stages, the 4 stages of the empowerments, through the 4 empowerments. And then the liberating instructions or the liberating teachings are the instructions which liberate through the 4 stages, progressive stages of the 4 levels of Tantra, the Kriya Tantra, Charya Tantra, Yoga Tantra, and Anuttara Yoga Tantra. So practice is developed gradually or progressively throughout the stages of these 4 levels of Tantra. So at first, in the context of Kriya Tantra, then there's emphasis placed on cleanliness. So one maintains a sort of like purity and cleanliness in the practice. And then when one gets to the stage of unsurpassed Yoga Tantra, then the focus, there's really no kind of interest placed on the cleanliness or purity, but more on simply maintaining the recognition of the true essence of one's own mind. So that becomes the main focus, and then one practices in sort of maintaining the focus on that, or placing importance on the essence. And so as one engages in the tantric practices, applying both the stages of the generation stage and the completion stage practices, including the completion stage practices with characteristics involving the subtle body practices of the channels, winds, and drops, dissolving the winds into the central channel, causing the winds to abide in particular locations in the central channel, and so forth. So these all become the qualities, the perfected qualities of Dharma, or the qualities of perfect Dharma, because they are the qualities that lead to Buddhahood, that create the result of enlightenment. So these are the causes that lead to our own awakening, and so therefore they are qualities. They are the qualities of the perfect Dharma.
Nibata mi nang jarik checking toadang, transi checking toadang, chimdagere checking toadang, jarchin yalaso bando kamje la rectodang, zukamje la right dundang, zumi la rey, yidin sungatamji, tambechunji yontin yenosa. That jarik hibate right tobo, right nange, right tobor zahayore. Teni te ang. Jiwanga ma sunam ko toble chungari ma to ke jumi jimi le chunga mari te sonsan sunam sem de ne tini tambe chilra le de yoro ra tini tramzi rei singhin na huma ta jaga la tramzi rei te la yang ma cho ga rei thombo la zen ko kar sia ta na jingwa yori quran so ke jilen de zo de le ka zo de tini tramzi ke ta rpa tang tini chulo zo chunyamni tene minga ramada tana mambu perna da persina tana la nyamni nang kinchik chade yore example za yore tiang tanda ke tramzi chike regla jiwa lingu ba yin yang jumi jimi le yong mari Tiang Sunam la rale de yuri, Sunzang Tampichil rale doa. Te chimda gare checking toa sewan de yang, Jirdang Ngaranzo Bernata, Ngaranzo Jiwa Lin de Tizangji Chubu Rao Tang, Teni Chutin Yabu Yo San Rao Tang, Tizang Yabu la Jiwa Lin de Soyang, Muma Sunam la rale de yuri song.
So then number 3, no, number 2, sorry. I got to find number 2, 1 sec. So number 2 says, the appearance of the noble lineages of human monarchs, the noble lineages of Brahmins, the noble lineages of the desire realm, and the 4 great kings, the 17 types of gods of the form realm, and the 4 types of formless gods in this world are the qualities of perfect Dharma. So here, as it is mentioned, for instance, the lineages of Brahmins or the Brahmin caste, and it was sort of those of higher class or higher caste. And so these also are not, if one is born into a family like that, it is not just without any specific causes or conditions. It's the result of merit. So all sort of favorable conditions in the context of, or from the perspective of Dharma, arise or come about through having created the specific causes. And those causes are, and so for instance, in ancient India, the highest caste or the highest class of people were the Brahmins, and the main work of the Brahmins was turn oneself with religion or spirituality, and also sort of the intellectual. They also had their kind of main focus was in the arena of the intellectual, and through sort of developing knowledge of the sciences and so forth, and in particular their area of focus was generally relegated to the realm of spiritual practice or religion, and so their main job was to engage in spiritual practice. And so they were considered to be of, like the highest class or highest caste. And so to be born into such a situation, again, doesn't come about without causes, without specific conditions, having created the causes and conditions. And so in general, all of these base kind of states or kind of levels of or all such expressions of kind of good fortune in the world, as being born into a wealthy family, in a situation where there's a lot of health and abundance and kind of purity. This comes about as a result of merit.
Ani da jachin yala so ban dokam jalla dola right dog se yore zukam ne jubden se yore zumi gala rai yala so ban dan da tamje tambe chu nyamle chen tisunam le yongwa jangjang re jumi jimi le yongwa mare si nande ko la tata hipta hyo go yan ro kya se yong mare chirang zo soso ge dawa ina chu ngong ban zu abidama ko shain sare tin na yore tela ne je yore ne je zena simba je yore tin na jiktin tin ba se ne je tin na pe hiptra hla ta su jewa kanda belin kawa de yo kanda chi de yo pe sibo yore tin na zero na.
That's all. So then it goes on to mention the 6 types of gods of the desire realm, the 4 great kings, the 17 types of gods of the form realm, and the 4 types of formless gods. So again, to take birth or take the form of any of these gods and these various God realms is also the result of merit. It comes about through practicing Dharma and the merit accumulated through practice. And of course, we don't have time right now to get into this with great detail. However, if you're interested, you can also refer to the Abhidharma Kosha, in which there is a lot of very detailed description with regard to these different God realms and the different beings in these different states. In this section on the 8 abodes and the kind of with this specific focus on cosmology and the different the 8 different abodes. So if you're interested, you can look there and you'll find a lot of detailed explanation.
Oh yeah. Tenida jepate jepasi sumbaterwa. Sumbate jundu hyupa tang linjik cherwa tang chermonwa tang rajomba tang ran sanje namba tamchin chimbe sanje jiktin to jungshin joan dambe chuji yongdin inoso. Nan deso tamje nyamlin chipa bo re nyamlin chipa bo korang chola tene ta lamla hyong nyamlin chindu nyamto jendu nyamto de gang chiba ina dike mengde korang cho matla pa ta ke yori kanza de la pa ta ne tanda che yaba jundu hyupa se pena lamla hyong jolam tabla hyongdu ngaran cho sa jo langa zo she de tene langa na ke jomlan tabla hyong ne te korang cho la panto ko yongtin kare che tene kare pang ke yo kare thok yo tela soba te so hyapcha chapsang tene jatsap jambang go bo ke sumba ke dara lokpon thomi ke ta nzebe jamchu de nga nang ke tene dara de hirap je par de simba tin na tene dara gindu ni hyose yorda tin na pe hyapcha sungko yori ten to so mang bal da nga chu hyonan de ke yori ta to so la pe hyapcha mambo yori yang koran so pando de kanda bi je ke yu pe na linje cherwa se wa de 가와이 렌직처 용거 요리 누부 감라 렌직처 용거 요리시 데네는 대진이 코란서 자좀 바텀로 요리 철몽 발람나 렌직처 마음 토니 자좀 공방 듣고 요리 에나 다 자좀 바스는 내제 가와스는 좋고 요리 뉴모 바 같이서 빵말은 좋고 요리 그래서 참아 데네 딘나 시보 요리 강다량 다 다라 휴야데 대 참아양 담배 주게 더블 중호 요리 담배 주드 발라 데네 대양 제 yinjeke jinlabda tukji jipo za mayen ba tendre mat kanza zu susu ke nyamsa langwa la tine drevet top de ba tendra chada insa te tampe chu ke yongdi ri so
So then number 3 says, the arising and existing of stream enterers, once returners, non-returners, arhats, pratyekya Buddhas, and holy omniscient Buddhas, etc., in this world are a quality of perfect Dharma. So this is referring to the different stages of accomplishment in the context of Dharma for the practitioner, what the different stages of awakening, also according sort of to the different levels of practice that are specific to practitioners, according with the different vehicles. And so also, for instance, the stream enterer, then the dampo de jorlam dang chikpa drawarebe, the
jundu chupa sendu Jun the Hupa and the Tapper and Jolan la Hyone, the Nicoransoke, Talam, Tondinium, Teta and Jokuro.
So, for instance, the stream enterer, the stage of the stream enterer corresponds with the entry into the path of joining in the explanation of the 5 paths. So there are the demarcations or the different stages of the 10 paths and the 5 paths and the 10 bhumis. And so when one enters into the level of the path of joining, then there are particular qualities of what has been abandoned, like permanently abandoned, and the qualities of realization that arise at that time. And so it is really, there's a lot of detail with regard to what specifically has been abandoned and what specifically has been realized, which corresponds at this level of awakening that occurs once one enters specifically the path of joining. And so actually there's a lot of great detail that can be found in the 5 categories of awakening, the Jangchu Denga, the Rebe, Jangchu Denga. The 5 gongta di nga shira ya po shegmendo di yang di pecha kaka nga yorwa
Hirsin la hirsin tate la ya hirsin na yoris hirsin parjana parimeta.
Oh, so gombo song yorwa
Chamba gombo ke tomi le song tomi ke tin junin chanzerwa.
So in the perfection of wisdom teachings that come from directly from the Buddha Maitreya as they were passed to a Sangha, and so there's a lot of detail that can be found there with regard to what exactly occurs on these different stages of awakening or stages of development. You know, what is it that constitutes the stage of a once returner, and what exactly is it that sort of defines the experience or the level of realization when one reaches the state of arhatship, and so on and so forth. So actually maybe in the future, Khenpo says he can teach on this specifically, and at that time he can go into greater detail. But in any case, all of these different versions of awakening and these different essentially stages of awakening all come about through the great blessings and compassion of the enlightened ones. They are the fruition of one's practice of pure authentic Dharma, and so therefore these are the qualities of perfect Dharma.
Dan de so ngon chupo yori nge churanso la pe tonchong da tanda chigime ine te pe hipcha mambo sungya yori tinna tin te ke tambo kaps tanda mambo te labde na tin pe chuk na tanda chang do yorwa nge do no te teni tambo chuk yunti ba ha ko chana andre do yori ma do teni anchi chuni te ha jang manyong le mala teni anchi labde tara te dimba imi mihita ke tara labdo che chena te ga za jol hondo go jure ke mo long go jure ni kala ni don ka chere la te trori la de jo tara cha do yora ta te kala ti do yor da te so na ti do mambo yore te ni te tanye pe mambo yore pe na tongbang gombang te ni tongbang kunjur sumbo ta te so yinji na ka ner mai ta go na kan shi.
Yeah, te chune hako masong kong ta nga te sa go tong song te anse jang na te pena anse chune ma jang ken yena te ne te anse hako go mare dunda yo sarwa re tango
anse tambo jang ken te ne hyun chog re as chog do do pena anse chi lab do ma che ga po chi la po te anse ni kala ni don na ka cheri lab do ni kala ni don na chog re lab do ten do che
re Teni DJ la kare se
la
DJ la gare sungyen Tanya gi korla sik Tanya gi korla.
Tanye de zo tes kable kapo yo jiri samso dara injin na. Perna thongpang konjor som labdu dani pachir injin na kare lab jedang yo jorwa. Thongpang
Ha
dara
kuma song kare re iti buke la yang ha ko me samgendo gopang kare.
songza thongpang da gompang sin korang zo lam re yun de jul jien du te la panja yo ra panja.
Awesome. So actually he said, to get into this stuff in a really detailed way could in fact end up really just creating a lot of confusion, because, and he doesn't say this, to like talk down to us or anything, but he said, it kind of requires a certain amount of knowledge and study to begin, from study to begin with in order to really be able to understand. So for instance, and so in the beginning, it can be really confusing and difficult to understand. So it's, at this point, we can just think of it as being like, these are really all fall into the kind of category or express the qualities of the fully perfected Dharma. And for instance, when learning math, for somebody who has never learned math before, then, it is, so for someone who's never studied math, then to sort of teach a higher level math won't make any sense to them. And not only that, when they're first trying to learn math, and the teacher says to the student, what is 2 plus 2? And the student says 6. So it is, kind of there's a lot of confusion in the beginning. So this is how it is, especially with regard to kind of all of these very intricate systems of classification that correspond with also, different levels of attainment according to different philosophical systems and so forth. So there's a lot of confusion that can occur, and also a lot of terminology, which also maybe there's some real difficulty to find the appropriate English translations.
Inange chiranzo jiang mi xinkin te ri lakwa yo mari te chiranzo te hersin injin jor yaban dona ji zegda te teni soso karantap ke yabo te hakon rogarwa teni injin jor yo mi hakoma so te so ta yong chimbon rawo te ha jor yo bas goma so.
So he isn't actually making the assumption that we don't know anything, and he doesn't say this to imply that. And in fact, many of you have already done a lot of your own study. And if you're interested, also, if there is a lot of perfection of wisdom literature that has already been translated, and you're interested, then you can take a look. You can read it. He's not really sure what has been translated into English and what has not.
Alright, teni yipate simji ta molam je top je tuji ranhyar je zukuni je singko ma tong par de simjin je don lundup de yongwan tambe chu ji yong de yin so. De simji de lang ni hyo zani ze yore. De big toni song yore teni sa da wa da ser da wa da wa da sin. Da de ka sa kala yong yore de pe de. Teni molam ta simji da molam tuso ko tobla tine teni chuju ko de teni ninji rang zang ga pa me ba indu tela tine teni khawa ke ta tara yindon tu zuko ni se de longju zo ko ta trubu ko ten de ta ko teni ko ma tong ko par de simji ko don je ba ta de tham je yang teni dambe chu ko yong din ri so.
Gongta dampo ser tabu gare lavien de yabo komason.
Simji janchok san de pe ni hyo zani lang yore 22 tena na teni sa tabu ser tabu dawa tabu sin ten te kasa kala yung churan zo ke ngima na hi cha yuri
Lasso. So then number 4 says, Within the world is the effortless and spontaneously present accomplishment of a benefit for sentient beings that occurs for as long as samsara is not emptied by means of the natural display of the compassion of the Buddhas in the form of the two kayas to bodhicitta and aspiration. This is a quality of perfect Dharma. Through the power of bodhicitta and the qualities, or bodhicitta is described in 22 sort of similes or examples, where it is said that bodhicitta is like the earth, it is like gold, it is like the moon, and so on and so forth. And this is really cited all over the place, so probably you all have heard it before. And then also through the power of former aspiration prayers, then due to the power of these two, from the Dharmakaya, the self-radiance of compassion emanates in an uninterrupted, unceasing display of the Rupa Kaya, or the two form Kayas, in order to bring about the benefit of sentient beings. And this natural radiance, or this display of the compassion of the natural compassion or radiance of the Dharmakaya manifests as the two kayas unceasingly until samsara is emptied, or as long as samsara is not emptied.
Tenga bate simji nyewan sobe yobje gangla gangwe ba puson soba tamji ne jancho sem ba namji mulamji doble jongwe na dambe chuji yongdi ino so. 당하는 가서 나연데 미당 다 간다를 지 베나 샨디데와게 준주 몰람나 송요와 머지 쳬파르 쳬지 파가는 로고나 쳬텔라 삼바미나 나 삼바데게 제와린도 쇼 송도와 머지 사동만나니 드라베 용도도 코 깔블렌테 사야미 고야미 드라리나 드니 강만 Khenpa me tana nga Khenpa lan jonjo hyo songdo da janjo semza da tana de tab mulang ko top ji yong khyo ba yin zang gang da yang dambe chu ge yong din ba hi la ra le de yuri song so bi yo je tam je.
So then number 5 says all the abundant and excellence all the abundant and excellent physical things that arise in the world to support, aid, and protect sentient beings arise due to or through aspirations of bodhisattvas, and thus they are qualities of perfect Dharma. So just like in the as it says as Shantideva says in the Bodhicharya Avatara, may I become a bridge for those who need to cross the water. May for those without shelter, may I become a house. May I become medicine for those in need of medicine, or for those who are sick, and so on and so forth. And so this is an example of the way in which through the power of bodhicitta and aspiration prayers, all sorts of things that appear are in fact nirmanakaya emanations that accomplish the benefit of beings, even in seemingly simple ways.
다 담배 쭉 토도라 제 남바데 제 차마 지바반로 진이 라코요 말이 렘데라 토도 라코리 타도.
However, it is important to understand that from the perspective of the Dharma, it isn't like these are created through by the one who makes the aspiration prayer. They occur through the karmic cause of the aspiration prayer. So it is because of cause and effect. It is they arise out of karmic interdependence.
Ninsongda drupadewa ninsongda mokhambene na yang nekapje dewa chungse yoba teda thamje jang karbo gebe sunam le trepe tampe chuji yungti yin song. Pena nyawa taganana yang nyawa ke ti lemkin ke ngolan toa hyöndu toa hammer de lamare toa hyöndu toa ma ngol jane toa ya namla ya cha ti parutna yang tena dewa ke ji tsam yo patan de so tamje yang dambe chung ke yungdi ta de so hien du ngarang zung ne pan ro go yor kaban ro go yor de hin nimbo tarto de hin nimbo ngo de devran yin ba darang pan dan ro ji ting go yor nga zo demes dewa sanji compound de dewa toguri se ya de je darang ngarang zo lo pan dan ro jiang min na de ni kale ka bo ro wa
So then, number 6 says, whatever slight happiness there is in the lower realms and in unrestful states arises from the virtuous merit accumulated by beings in those states, and therefore arises through the qualities of Dharma. Essentially what this is, I'm not sure that that's a perfect translation, but essentially what this is saying is that, even a brief moment of relief that is felt in the suffering of the lower, amidst the suffering of the lower realms. So for instance, in one of the hell realms where one is repeatedly beaten with something akin to a hammer, in the moment between, like when the head is hit or struck with a hammer, and then the hammer is launched again into the air, or the hammer rises just to only to come down on one's head once again. In that moment where the hammer is rising, there's a brief moment of relief. And that moment of relief, that even if it's just a brief instant or moment, is the qualities that the relief itself is the qualities of perfect Dharma. And so also this is indicative of the ultimate true nature, or the Buddha nature, Tathagata Garbha, being the nature of happiness, or being really naturally endowed with the qualities of happiness, because if it were only that we attain happiness, once one reaches the state of Buddhahood, but there's no sort of seed for that, there's no kind of indwelling natural cause which itself has the nature of relief or happiness, then actually that wouldn't even really make sense. It actually wouldn't work. That would be difficult. And so that even these brief moments of relief in which one has a split a second of the happiness of relief in the three lower realms, such as in this example with the hell realms, is actually a kind of indicative of the Buddha nature.
Jiwa ngimpa daja dampe chusu lonjor na jiwa dampe reksu nehin mekunju zudungru nesu juban dampe chuju yungti inoso. Ta cetu rawa la pe juba ngimpa je dra je de matam je matsama ke ko madukjari lamdo yatan so ceme la yang ya po chan ganso koran su lonjor se de juba njor ta dra ya yungya yore ta pe mambo song yore sanje ke to so la rong ta jarne tsar. So then
number 7 says, when a negative person turns their mind to Dharma and becomes a genuine and holy person who can be respected by everyone, this is the quality of perfect Dharma. So actually there are many examples and many stories of such circumstances where somebody who's really very negative and engaged in really terrible or negative activity has a change of heart, or they go through a transformation, and then they end up entering the path of Dharma and become really great practitioners. Actually, there are many examples and stories that are also told by the Buddha. So if we look at those, then we also, we may already, in fact, be familiar with some of them.
ngar dikpa mege wala pa mi te ji nyar bu phen ge jo so ba te an tambe chu ji so lo nan jor ne tori da tarpe de wala ru pan jo ba tambe chu ji yong ti no so ta nya wa de me ta we ji na me na nan bu ya ge phen na yin tu cha sun ba te ta ge mege wa la po che sorry mege wa chim po che ta dikpa hinang cha wa sa ya ba te an tene nimbo top yala su bo go ne hya pa che ne tene tori da tapa top sun ba mambo yo re lo ju o te tambe chu ge yong ti nya ji la ta nan jo so ne ta tin jo sam bo de chim ba re so.
So then number 8 says, when someone who has been carelessly engaging in such wrongdoing that it produces future turns their mind toward the Dharma and creates the causes for rebirth in the higher realms, and liberation, these are the qualities of Dharma. So likewise, there are many examples of this as well. So for instance, if somebody is really fully immersed in habits of wrongdoing and negativity, such that they are really creating the causes for, the really terrible suffering in the depths of hell, and then they have a sort of a change of heart, or they go through a transformation practices of purification through applying the 4 powers of confession and so forth, and then this becomes the cause for that instead rising to states of rebirth in the higher realms and attaining liberation. And this is also then the qualities of perfect Dharma.
Gabat, Tambe Chula, Te Patsama, Mupatsama, Gawatsama, Chalunzi Patsam, Kunji Yidu, Ninkur Nesujaban, Tambe Chuji Yuntinos. Nanda Naranzo Pena Jam to Domba Yobatsamje, Ladan Lamila, so Gawarje, so then Lata Yidatamje, no Jiak chapter, Koranzo Gawachiri, Sondova. Te tabang ngaranzo kuncho son la te pa se pa san je phiyun tan ra yo re teni ngaranzo ta tulo naza ta gendu pa ke nabza to so na byan to so teni yin gran yin thong na thong wa zam je koranzo ke gawa chi ge yo re ten da yin za ngaranzo ke ju so so ke thop thang yin ro ma san ne ngone san je ke ka din tin go yan ro cha de yo re ko ze ma po gumba zam de tin yin ke ku yap chi wa la so ba ganang chi yin go yo re to so Sanji Kingune Kadenti, the Nachiba in the Tini Choba Chadayori.
So then number 9 says, when one merely has a faith, interest, or delight in Dharma, or merely takes on the robes of a Dharma practitioner, and yet by this alone becomes pleasing to everyone and an object of people's respect, this is due to the qualities of Dharma, or the qualities of perfect Dharma. So even actually taking the vows of refuge becomes a cause for all gods and humans to rejoice. Even the spirits such as Nagas, or the non-humans, all of the non-humans who ordinarily maybe perhaps cause mischief or harm, then delight or rejoice and act as and the Dharma act or conduct of actually entering through the door of Dharma through the taking the vows of refuge. And then likewise, with this example of the Dharma robes, even just wearing, becoming, ordained and taking on the red and yellow robes, even through that act alone, regardless of what might be one's inner state or intentions, really becomes a cause of extraordinary virtue where that creates a delight and happiness in the minds of others. So when we have kind of the feeling, for instance, of seeing the red or yellow robes, and then the mind kind of feeling elated or feeling joyful in the sight, this is really due to the kindness of the Buddha. When we see the red and yellow cloth, as is represented by the Dharma robes, then we can use it as a way to reflect upon or remember the kindness of the Buddha.
간단 아란서 rumboche 양세 송바나 인게 잠드 돈바 요바 삼지 긴드윈바 차드 요리 ngaransola gindwinba sibe mengte yoba tsamje pe sinlap chimboji chade yore tena ndo sosungune gawa gom teni yinla pinta yala zungo yorwa bezu naune.
So, for instance, as Rinpoche always says, by taking the vows of refuge, once you have taken the vows of refuge, you have become a Sangha member. You have actually become a member of the Sangha. And so even just to carry that name, as a Sangha, a member of the Sangha, is something that is really so wonderful and a cause of real delight and rejoicing. So one can rejoice for oneself, and also then one can make an effort, or one should make an effort to uphold sort of that the behavior that is worthy of a Sangha member by always making an effort to benefit others.
Teni jubade dopung bo tamji pangne song chimne chimi parabdo jongchiru tu gombada de yemne de chobo yobje pusu choba chuan tambe chiyonde yeno nande chuba mugi hisami songre chuba kaze tabjoe na mugi higmari song tena yenzang deningheni mlare ba jongje hyyenba kong lapchil kunchang yo denin changkhang khawa ge ka tena ji bu ni kong la cho per yonde teni kong jazoglo cho de korang yi thaba tena ke logic ji hyin de ning ne re gang la tapu na de na teni tin ram la yo be de so ke teni samala so ban phwa de thamje yang tambe chu ka din ri so
Chang pache chirang di zungi yusarwa di milaraba yang di kongi loma changma kongshi yusare samne dine di sang tang yurwa dine di rebe. Okay. And so then number 10 says, finally, and leaves the world for a state of homelessness, living in isolated retreat, and yet spontaneously finds an excellent sustenance. This is a quality of the perfect Dharma. It is said that a Dharma practitioner will never die of starvation. So even if one abandons all possessions and devotes oneself single-pointedly to the practice of Dharma, it is said that one will always be kind of looked over. And so also, in fact, there's the story of Milarepa when he was a great snowstorm, and there was so much snow that the snow was so piled high, it completely blocked the entrance to his cave, and the snow thought surely he must have died. He must have perished in the storm. And so they did burnt offerings. They performed burnt offerings for him. And through that, their offerings, then Milarepa was able to receive sustenance. He was actually able to receive kind of the substances of their offerings and to survive on it as sustenance. And so this is an example of the extraordinary qualities of the perfect Dharma. So one will always, even practitioners who go to meditate, in solitary mountain caves and so forth, they are always sustained by the kindness and offerings of others.
Tan de yin zang nga zo namba yin jin popa nyang go ya ma do popa ji cho ya ji rin cho ba yo res Yena yang ngarang su ngajar chi nying yo men ama ta cha de yore simjin tam je ngarang su ju ke jamba tenen den sa tene ngarang su poba jering choba yore yena ngajar chi nying maris
Kungta jula gare ta cha yore.
ya po ji hin tin su kom da ju ta ngarang su poba jering choba je yore si namba yin sam de poba ji cho ya je yore is yena yang jum yina yang ngajar chi ning yo mare ngajar ma ji sirwa ngarang so ke ni ngarang so simjin tamji ke phama ta cha de yuri chulok tamji ke robo ta cha de yuri simjin tamji ke phama yin ta cha ba de teni ngarang su ju ke nin je de ne ngune nyam se lang wa ne nin je de ne ama na yin cha de yuri ta jam nin je de ne ama na yin cha de yuri de shirab lam nan ra sa re ta de ne pa na yi cha de yor den da yin zang da ngarang zo po pa ji cho ji rin cho ba yor re de nga jar ji ning ge ma re
So, reflecting on these qualities of the extraordinary qualities of the Dharma, we can actually feel some real confidence. We can actually have a sense of confidence and kind of healthy pride around being a Buddhist, or because we can think of ourselves as Buddhists in a way that gives us a real sense of joy or taking pride in that, but not in a way that is arrogant or conceited. And that looks down on others, but in a way that sees all other spiritual traditions as a companion, like to our own practice. We can think of the other spiritual traditions as our friends or companions, and we think of all sentient beings as our own parents, our own mother and father, and all other traditions, spiritual traditions or religions as friends. In fact, the compassion in our own mind stream is like a mother we can think of as our mother, and the wisdom in our mind stream is like our father. So we can take real kind of joy in the fact that we have found this extraordinary path. We can be really confident as Dharma practitioners.
Nambu chula tin ngarang su so dorwa zamba che yin tam jang ko dung jam so le dorya ke tanda ke tablam niba yoris.
Not only do we have the power and ability as Dharma practitioners to achieve our own liberation, to liberate our own mind streams, but we actually also possess the power to liberate the mind streams of others.
Simjin tamje ngarang su ko bu na yi cha de yor. Rewa. Tang ne chu nyam le jin bu kaps.
So actually, as we practice the Dharma, really all sentient beings become like our children.
Ya ta te ke tambe chu ku yun tin dor de ba cho de hu sin ri ta. Main zam je chu cho de hu ya ri.
So then this completes, as it said, so, well, anyway, this completes the 10 things that are the qualities of perfect Dharma, or that can be recognized as the qualities of perfect Dharma. And then next we have the section which constitutes the 10 things that are merely names or labels.
Tani dambo de ye ne lo tin de min be main zang ta de so ka se ta to mo ke ja rin do. Den de ye ne lo ye ne yu ma nyong be ne lo gandar dum ne lo konde tam je ke ye dum ne lo de there is it in the yoba maris the main zam da zam ke tin go le ma do ke.
Mhm. So first it says the nature of the ground. Well, let's see. The nature of the ground of experience is beyond all elaboration, and therefore it cannot be communicated. So any name or term applied to it, first, since the nature of the ground cannot be explained or demonstrated, ground is just a name. So since the true nature itself actually is not, we refer to it as the ground of all samsara and nirvana, but this isn't something that we can say, oh, this is it, like as some identifiable thing. This is it. This is the ground. It's merely a name. It's merely a label. It's merely a symbol which points to the meaning. And so therefore it is merely a name.
Oh, tani lam druzi me be lam meng zang yin song. De telo bak. Drusa ke lam deri se ne mi zang. Drusa lam deri se mi pat ke ne lok de ha kwa zang sanje ke lam ke ne sin song do kong. Oh, de ta ba ji. Don tam bu ngo la.
Gong ta te se ya po ko ma song.
Don tam bu ngo la drupu lam mi sanje lam na sin song do telo bak. Don tam bu ngo la lam deri se sanje ke lam drusa lam deri se do je yo ma res. Ko cha cha chim bo ngo la. Nam ka na yin cha de yo ro. Palam na yi panang na yi.
And so then the next one is there are no such things as the path, the journey, and the traveler. They are merely names. So there's not any such thing as a traveler, the traveling, and the path. And so really, as Tilopa has said, from the perspective of the ultimate truth, there is no actual path or any thing that can be designated as the path. So since from the perspective of the ultimate truth, there is no, the three of the one who traverses the path, the traveling of the path, and the path itself do not really exist. It is simply the nature of space.
Sumbate ne lo la ta ji mi be to pa meng zang so. Ta ne lo dong ji ngo de la ta ji nderi se ya ji ta ta jan nderi se ka ka lo yo ma ri so. De za meng zang da zang ge da zhe ya ri ma do dong tam ba la de ta cha de yu zang de ni me ti pa ge so ne. De tar chu nam ro jik de so. Chu tham je de ni be na ko wa da nyang de si ba de dong to la ro jik ba jik ba cha de yo ri so re. De ni kun de sing ge ji yin o song da ma rang zo de sing ge si ba de ko da da ran jing wo ben ro lo yo ro to na ba kun de yo wa mi ban ro ji nyang wa mi ban ro.
Singe dawo, singe lion, lao kyu be.
Kun de sing ge ji yin o sing ge la ya de ri da sim jin chang chong la hian hang ji go ma re wa. Da ba zar zo on de ni nyang wa da hian hang mi ba. Ko ba yang la sa han lo san hian hang go ma re wa. Ni song ne la.
So then, and number 3 says, third, in the ultimate nature, there is nothing to see and no viewer, so realization is just a name. So since the realization of the true meaning is beyond the duality of one who experiences it, or the one who sees the true nature, and the object which is seen, or something which is actually seen, since actually there's this understanding is from within the state of non-duality or indivisibility, then it is simply a name. And so as Maitripa La Yumbe, Maitripa?
Yeah.
As Maitripa has said, in this way, all phenomena is one taste, or is of a single flavor. The single taste or single flavor of samsara and nirvana, like the lion, who is kind of unmovable, or this experience is unwavering, like that of the kind of lion amidst the jungle. So the example that is given is that the lion is completely unperturbed. The lion it cannot be conquered. He's like the king of the forest. He has no fear, knowing that he is that he is sort of the so the lion has no fear.
Fearless. No doubt. Yipadingo Nyumala Gomza Gomzi mi be Nyamnyong Mensa Yabojurando syndrome. Teni Nyuma Hibade that Dumi Yishiterwa. Dumi Yishingola Ngot Korangola Gomjan Detang Gomzi Des in the Yomari song. Then Narobaki song Sumbari. Don Tambala Gomdam Mogum Ni mi be si Gomba Anderisi Bada Mogom Banderisi Ni mi be Jartang Mother Kalayos. Ta Panza Patrandria Deri Panza de Darmandos in the Yomaris Don Tambungola called Nankatabe.
So then the fourth is unnaturalness or uncontrivance. There is nothing to meditate on and no doing of meditation. So the experience of meditation itself is just a name. So the meditation as some sort of specific action that is done is really just a name or just a label. When one realizes the essence of primordial wisdom, it's simply the experience of primordial wisdom without somebody who is meditating and something to be meditated upon. As Naropa says, in the ultimate truth, there is no such thing as the meditator, as the one who meditates and the meditation. They are, these two are free from duality, or it is, one is beyond, so this is, so there isn't something to be abandoned, and there is not the act of having, free, there's not anything to become free of, or nothing, no object to abandon, and no duality between the objects to something to abandon and being in the state that is, or one that is free, has become free from the objects to abandon.
Ngapate hila jeja juzi mi be juba mainzam song. Ta kantar ja ke tripchin jere kong bra ba shu saja to so ta kong na phuk to ke yore saja ba kong ke song re jing yi mo bongs jing yi ba ta ne bang go yo ma re de ni hi pe de la jang song jing yi ko rang ngo de la ta ne da rang to ne din dro go yore song ro ti ta ba re.
So as the Indian Mahasiddha Birapa, who is important to the Sakyapa tradition, has said, there are no adverse conditions to abandon, simply sustain the essence of the unborn.
Oh yeah. Debat. Don la sungza sungji mi be tamche ming sam se. Ta kang ta ya sungza da sung don dam beng la nang kha ta ye wa mi ba yin zang. Sungza sungji se yo ma re. Kang ta yang te song do te lo ba ke. Mene me mek don le ma da na song. Ti nan kang ta yang nan don de kare re se na chi soso ke sungar sa bu ne ga teri pangwar sa wan deri se ne ni sun jin bu lo de da zhar song wai na nin jin ge jing ba de zhar song wai na jing ba lu na zhor wa te chon mi song ba na yin dong da ji de wa nin jin ge jing de yo rang ga zo
So mimic kande tampo kande de.
mene me mek dong le ma da na s de dong da de wa de ko ju ne lok de len da ma song ba yin na yu mi gen simar jin de ne lo len da ro yo ba nang kha ta sim ni nang kha ta ba ngang lo yo ta ba na ne lo len da yo ma ro ba de ni mi ba cha ni mi ba na de ni ni kan de nin jin de zhor
So then 6, it says, since the ultimate nature of all things is free of any kind of elaboration or distinction, it is not a composite, and therefore there is nothing to be guarded and no act of guarding. The term samaya, therefore, is merely a name or convention. So when one sustains the recognition of the ultimate nature, just like the open expanse of space or the sky, the sky-like nature, then there's nothing to protect. There's nothing to be protected and no act of guarding. So as Tilopa says, without contriving, without fabricating, without modifying or altering anything, the one remains de marebe.
Ni sun jin ba de la zhor song wai na de ni da
Oh yeah, de ha ko sun.
oh yeah
So within datung la masong in this state of not like the true nature of one's of awareness without this sort of duality of something to be protected and the act of protecting or guarding, when, as Tilopa says, when the bonds of dualistic fixation are loosened, then there is no doubt of release.
Demba de don la sa za so ji mi be chong ni meng zang so ta te dong da ji ba wa pa lo yan de sa
So then number 7 says, ultimately, there is nothing to be accumulated or added and no accumulation. So the two accumulations is merely a name.
Tene je ba don la jang za jong ji mi be dim ni meng zang so ta jang zang ko wa dang jong ji nyang de shi ban da wo je yo ma ri dong tam ba to la kan sara ha ge song ne ko kan ye ko wa kan yin ba de nyang de de rang ri song tene ma do ma do zang che ba ri ma do.
So then 8th is, since ultimately there is nothing to be purified and no purification, the two obscurations, the cognitive and afflictive obscurations, are just names. As Saraha says, since actually samsara and nirvana, there's no difference or no distinction to be made between samsara and nirvana. Nirvana, no different from samsara. It is simply a matter of realizing or not realizing it.
Gobat, don la panja ponji mi ben ko meng zang so. Ta panja ke dripa teri se dang pa la yo ma res.
And so then ninth, ultimately, there's nothing to be abandoned and no process of abandonment. So samsara is, did I already say that? Yeah. So samsara is just a name. Gubarewa. Oh no, sorry. So thing to be obtained and no one who is obtaining. So the fruition is merely a name. Yeah, so sorry, ninth, process of abandonment. So samsara is simply a name. Okay, simla is kalisung simla.
Ngarazo sem kunelo yoro sem kunelo dela isine dodo je yo mare si ta tena mi pa ti ngala kom na tini lami ke chanjo thogre so
So then 10th is ultimately there is nothing to be attained and no attainment, since the fruition is spontaneously the present as our true nature. So fruition is just a name.
Oh yeah.
So as Tilopa says, by looking at the mind, there is nothing there to be seen. So this not seeing itself is Mahamudra.
Dela gomnas.
Dela gomna.
Become familiar on that.
Okay, so so that is what is to be made familiar, or that is what is to be meditated upon.
Dikorde tonda jingni haji kosno tsama ha kodo yurta. Jik toni ganyi ba tene kunji toni yin se sonjang ngaranzo ke test laven rogo ya de tsura de so asa jiteni.
Di kongta tesa chigure yang ta.
Jik toni ganyi ba tene kunji toni yin se. Me meto digala toni ha koso ayana teni ngubo yonsu zoba kala toni me patan rate na ha kondo ro.
Oh, okay. And so if one realizes the empty nature of one thing, then one realizes the empty nature of all things, or one realizes the empty nature of all phenomena.
Oh yeah. That take a main song chucho here. That chusin tamate lunju to be chucho tereda.
So then that completes the 10 things that are merely names or labels. So then next are the 10 things that are spontaneously present as great bliss, or the 10 great blisses.
Deva chimbo lunju trabas and Deva chimbo lamia de carisina. Teni ngobo chani madrpa. Teni ngobo chani kan takba so. Teni yuntin tamji yen zo deba, yen drop deba. Tela Deva chimbo lunju trabas. Tela chucho yores.
So what is referred to as spontaneously arisen great bliss is the essence, which is a primordial purity. And so the of great bliss.
Tene tambo te simjin tamji lunju traba. Lunju traba se ta hi gondi hubana hi kane taba yene zokba te tawe yinzang chuju garang yi hebate. Tene yene ko Deva chimberang yiriso.
So then first, each and every sentient being abides as the Dharmakaya. It is spontaneously present, which is spontaneously arisen or spontaneously accomplished is referring to or meaning this primordial purity, or being endowed with the perfected qualities from the beginning, or present as great bliss in the minds of all beings. And so then second, since there is nothing in the phenomenal world which is present as the true essence or the ground of all being, all that exists, the true nature of samsara and nirvana, all is within this as the nature of great bliss, beyond the duality of positive and negative, or good and bad.
Dewa chimpa lunju choba ta dar shiba du yunta tanta chimta la soba ta yuge la soba tamje le charwa la ta dar si deni lo shiba de ngarang zu kunzup ke pa yoyo ke ta da dar songwa din ta len de songwa na deni londe je toba ang ni la soba ke chor.
So then third, since the realization transcends conceptual mind, is beyond the extremes of nihilism and the assertion of permanence, is without the elaborations of partiality and distinction, it is present as great bliss. So the realization that transcends the conceptual mind is free from all elaboration. So it is beyond what is designated within the realm of the relative. So it is beyond the relative mind, where beyond the mind of bias and partial and bad, or clean and unclean, pure and impure, and so forth. And so it is spontaneously accomplished as great, or spontaneously present as great bliss.
Yibat yila jawa mi penyaba ta yila mezi penyamnyo si ta yila mezi chaja chimboyin so de yang tela hin ne teni te ke chi nyamnyo ru thaba tela hin yong ba den de ke yo marwa den za teni sim truba mi ba ko rangin ta sem machi machi pongo ta den ne teni dewa chi phulun truba ris.
So garizena digyo mari.
Yela mezi chaja chimboyin song de yang jiang yela mezi ne de tinwa jin de tela yang chazo le xinba jin o ta teng ne chakchin yin se chakchin la chakchin ni den zin de ba na da rong zin ba yo ra zhu ba yo ra.
Fourth is, since the experience of non-activity in the mind transcends the elaboration of conception, it is spontaneously present as great bliss. So on there is the thought that to have in which there is no grasping whatsoever to the in the mind, and this is Mahamudra, and then to have some experience that one kind of identifies as this, and then sort of to fixate or grasp to that experience of what one conceives to be non-grasping, grasping, if there is fixation there, and so therefore it is the nature of delusion, and so that which is completely uncontrived without the elaborations of partiality and distinction is spontaneously.
Ngen chukun mazong matang wes ngen deri se tsur mazong da mari is ne pama ka se chu de chi chawa manao song tik churang layang teni te patong te chadrub la nge mana so te chaja redo da trawa chab jumsin te rwa chazur da trawa
So then, fifth, as it says, since the conduct that is effortless and beyond conceptually designated activity transcends the elaboration of acceptance and rejection, it is spontaneously present as great bliss. And so, as Saraha points out, or as Saraha has said, as long as there is some conceptuality or some active experience of identifying something in such a way that one says this is it, and so therefore one leans toward what identifies what one identifies as being it or being correct. And when, as long as there is something that is identified as not being it, and therefore one leans away, or there is some subtle pushing away or rejecting, then there one is not completely without the grasping of accepting and rejecting, or something to be accepted and something to be rejected. And so the completely unelaborated nature experience is one in which there is nothing fear or expectation and fear, and without any concept of something that needs to be abandoned or pushed away, or something that needs to be accomplished.
Na yeng shiba de la chen nang kui yeng teni nang za kam ge yeng sangwa tigli yeng teni ne long trupa da tarwa te ko na jing yeng se ta kandar te tham je la ta
kung ta te che nang tang sang rebe teni yang char sangwa tigli yeng kande dampo chi ge yeng kare re
chen nang kui yeng
nam ke yeng
nang za kam ge yeng sangwa tigli yeng te ko na ni teni truwa da tarwa yeng ta ha ko sa o te kandar te da yeng de yi yer mi ba tu son la ponjor da trawa kandar kan da ba tendra ke ne lo chu chu ko tene de la zungwan de zungzi ge lo dang mari zungwa ke ngo bo dang zungzi ge lo la so ba tham je len de ba na tene dewa chim bo ra yi lun chu ba res
Six, since there are not the illusions of grasped objects and a grasping subject in the Dharmakaya, which is the unity of the expanse of emptiness and the ultimate wisdom, that is the cognition of emptiness, the Dharmakaya is spontaneously present as great bliss. So there's what is referred to as the expanse or space, and so there's the outer, inner, and secret space. There's the outer space, which is the space of the sky, or the space of space. There's the inner space, which is of the constituents and elements, and there is the space of the tigle, or the drop, the expanse or the space of the drop, and there is the space of suchness, which is the the delusion, which is the expanse of suchness. And so in this space and primordial wisdom are an indivisibility with these different attributes of outer, inner, secret, and suchness, completely free from the conceptuality regarding the three times, or the nature of the three times. The grasp, without something to be grasped, and one who is grasping beyond the mind of this dualistic fixation, the experience of this nature is the spontaneous great bliss.
Tani lomchu zubuka shibate tani ta zena kandar chu chuka ke tarati yungtin chik chada yore tani ta lomchu zubuka la ngipa ngadin sentana sungko yore kandar yang tenda ke che jekhe tam ponjer la soba ke chuba da charwa sena tani dewa chimbulunji chuba so
Nipa ngadin sana?
Kor ngipa tu ngipa. Ngipa ngadin ta chapsang ngak lami chang ngipa ngadin ke main thems te je to no greetings thems kor ngipa tu ngipa tumba ngipa chu ngipa.
Oh da hakosong. Yeah. So then the seventh, since the Sambhogakaya, which is self-arisen compassion, does not possess the elaborations of birth and death, it is spontaneously present as great bliss. So the Sambhogakaya, which is like a quality of the Dharmakaya, or it sort of, while it is indivisible from the Dharmakaya, it emanates from the Dharmakaya as actually the nature of great bliss. So the characteristic of it is that it is the nature, it kind of specifically embodies this quality of great bliss. And it emanates in such a way that is endowed with the five kind of the purities, such as the purity of the retinue, the purity of the time, the purity of the Dharma, and so forth. And so yet it itself does not possess the elaborations of birth and death. And so therefore, as it manifests as the spontaneous presence of great bliss, or it is spontaneously present as great bliss.
Teni jebate tukji ran harje tukula ninang duji juba me be dewa chimbo lunj jubas. Te tabe teni dekhin hingbo chujuke ran yinte ke teni hinji ranzale tukje hibade hinjerwa hinji ranzale teni charyomba ke trubuka na trubuka ta trubuka de la jedang dara trukni sibate ngaso chuke kosom yon chuke de trukni de longadang the zukul yoga yor yin yang dara trubuka kapso ko som se yong yor kosom de teni zoi chuke perna ngarang zo lak tin som la so ban da thamje teletin teni simji ma bolo pin thok yorwa do so la tin teni jewa chuke shin teni ta ku jewa ta perna ngarang zo ji perna jakap je la manzo k lam lok ji de yong bai nan de thamje jewa chuke kan thlen do cha do yorwa ngarang la so goya ta de cha ang go de teni hibde la so ban da thamje 중산이 희나 teni 장첩 생각 그 신 teni 양다바 따와 양다바 내록 동킹게 대다고 그 teni 제와랑네 teni 심지나 핀도 용 거요 나 대다 담지 라양 코란 중문이지 닌진 그 주바 신진 그 주바 요 말에 남카다베 취주가 림바다베 롱주조 버거 teni 텔레 차바다베 그 teni 심지 담지 남도 가양미 버토네 Ninzi mi patone pinta ka yorwa. Then data with the watch tribas.
So then 8 says, since the Nirmanakaya, which is self-arising compassion, transcends the elaboration of the false imputation of an inherent duality to experience, it is spontaneously present as great bliss. So in the same way, so as the nature of the Dharmakaya is present as the essence of the mind stream of all beings, as the Buddha nature. But the radiance of the Dharmakaya emanates as a Rupakaya out of great compassion. And so the former verse touches upon or is explaining the Sambhogakaya, and then so the two form kayas or Rupakaya are the Sambhogakaya and the Nirmanakaya. And both emanate as aspects of or sort of as the radiance of the Dharmakaya. And so there are 3 types of Nirmanakaya which manifest out of the inherent great compassion which pervades the nature of the Dharmakaya. So there are the Nirmanakaya emanations, which are like artistic or artisan created Nirmanakaya emanations. And so these are those representational supports, which are objects of faith, such as statues and tankas and any sort of representation of enlightened form, which inspires faith in the mind streams of sentient beings. And then there are birth Nirmanakaya emanations, which can be, for instance, emanations of benevolent leaders who appear and as benevolent leaders of a democratic society, or someone who actually creates a democratic society through great nations, which are truly realized bodhisattvas who have a direct realization of the true nature, and therefore they emanate. The Sambhogakaya is like the clouds, and the Nirmanakaya is like the rainfall or the rain falling from the clouds.
Shanti Deva ke pe yan yin ortam. Tasola sosola namto kanyo maybe ton yin dong chi ke yorwa. Te tabari son tripokana.
And so as Shantideva describes, he says these Nirmanakaya emanations are like wish-fulfilling jewels. They're like wish-fulfilling trees, which spontaneously produce what is needed and desired by beings without any concept of doing so, without having to just naturally and spontaneously, without having to intentionally do so. And so in the same way, Nirmanakaya emanations without any process of conceptual thought, just naturally and spontaneously bring about the limitless benefit of sentient beings.
Tani gabat timba chujung kolo la dakten sima truba me dewa chi bulu truba. Ta timba karere sanji chomdin de konde ki nelo tamje ha kone tani ngarang sola pena ka chipa na yi when tani nelo de 13 tani te tin de tani tambe chu de kolo na yi de tani korsa ka lam da wode ngarang so sim ji ju la dekhi nimbo yu zang tani koran yin rewa yu de yo barwa chujung kolo de dekhi nimbo ni te tabe tone tani ngarang so ke nga san pumbo nga bola dadun sin de ben zimba tan je la dorndu tani dame ben nelo chuju ko ran yin to so to de ran yin ko dewa chimbolun ju ba cha do yo barwa.
So then, 9th, it says, Since all the various turnings of the wheel of Dharma by the Buddha transcend the elaboration of the false imputation of an inherently existent self, they are spontaneously present as great bliss. So the Buddha, the transcendent conqueror, who perfectly realized or understood the true nature himself of samsara and nirvana, having recognized or having fully realized the true nature of reality, he then it taught the Dharma, or pointed out, taught the Dharma, thereby pointing out that true nature to us or to sentient beings. Through turning, through the various stages of turning the wheel of Dharma. And so as beings have the Buddha nature, so there is the Buddha nature that is inherent in the mind streams of beings, and the Dharma, which is expressed all as skillful means to kind of direct us to realizing that true nature. These two are deeply connected, the turning of the wheel of Dharma and then the Buddha nature inherent within the mind streams of sentient beings. And through the process of receiving or the turning of the wheel of Dharma, then beings gradually, according to the different levels that are appropriate, gradually realize the empty nature of the five aggregates. They overcome the mind of self-grasping and eventually realize the true nature. And as such, then this is this entirely present as great bliss.
Tene jobate tsemi tukjin tilela jache tu tsengmi be dewa chimpulun joba. Tsemi ba hita tendake tukji chimba dela. Ndeta wisi tse njarta mata ba. Teni jache chong detsamri seba mi ba kuncham ninji chimbo. Tukji ranzang gakpa mi ba te tab ke teni dan chile junche mi ba ruwa da simjin tamji jisin kowa ma tong ke par de teni temba da simjin ke tong ba shila teni zumba zenare te tab yindu ta te karazo go ta dewa chimpo lunje traba song teni teso chuju ke yongding chuju ke le mayu yindu teni tanda ke zomta mi ba te tawe nawa ta te teni da kandan de kapsu jirtang ngaran stoni tona ninji je somba na yinke teni magin ruwa rin rupa tangje teni truwe nangola yingde de teni tela ran yinke ko ninji yedeki nimbo rangkan rangzalle teni ninji chungwe ninji tela tena teni tela juche mi ba tena yonga yoris.
So then finally, since the activity of unlimited and no time frame, it is spontaneously present as great bliss. So great compassion is limitless, or it's unlimited great compassion with no sort of unmeans of reference to time and space. And this great compassion is a kind of natural and spontaneous quality, dharmakaya, or the empty nature. So the degree of compassion develops throughout the stages of the path, but once the ultimate nature is fully realized and understood, or one realizes the true nature of emptiness, then the great that is the natural compassion of emptiness is all pervading. It's all pervading, and it is unceasing. It is an unceasing kind of ongoing radiance of wisdom. And so this continues, this unlimited and unceasing compassion is always kind of emanating, or is always present until for as long not emptied. And so it is always present as the qualities, the ever-present qualities of the Dharmakaya. It is present as the ongoing spontaneity, going spontaneously present great bliss. And let's see.
Oh yeah. That take dewa chimbolunju traba chucho teta lepatores.
So then these are the 10 instances of spontaneously present great bliss.
Lamchoren chin chingwa te lepatores.
And it also concludes the teachings on the Supreme Path.
Te chabla ta loji tungtong armenze yapse ju sungju drama me ba nam kadan ba lama kadin chi nam le thuba tan jagan phapu yorda nyeda tara ta pe chimcho naro meti ni tang marpa lobda pala so ban kedom nan ju thukje ba ribe jisu zong song drama me ba nam cho jik de ba lamcho rom bo chi tingwa ni ji dam ben zung chang wa hyar ta po ningam sunang ri chin chi ba zo so je gambo ba sha ne maung ba kanza da la mu xing da da ma te nya ba kun jang ko bu zan ba lam cho rom bo jin ting wa da ta ba rom bo.
This text, the essence of the teachings of the Kadampa tradition, has been compiled in order to spread and preach the doctrine of the Buddha in the Tibetan region of the Himalayas. Atisha Dipankara, able to compile these teachings of Atisha with the blessing of the holy gurus of the Kadampa tradition and his Yidam deity Aryatara. Milarepa received the treasury. Let's see, is that where it comes? Yeah. Milarepa received the treasure of India, namely Naropa and Maitripa, who are as glorious as the sun and the moon, as well as the instructor in Tibet, has also prepared this text by compiling the teachings of the Kadampa tradition as preached by Atisha Dipankara Srijana, as the teachings of Kagyupa of the and in the words of Gampopa, all individuals of the future who have me and are not able to see me, if they read the text composed by me, such as a precious garland of the Supreme Path and the jewel ornament of liberation, they will get the same result as seeing me in person. Disciples of Gampopa attempt to spread the teachings of Gampopa composed in these two texts for the benefit of those persons who want to practice and read these books for all sentient beings.
Oh yeah, Dharma sama tendake natsa la so ba kanga yo ba ka so hie gore tena lab song tene tena yinta momam bola pin sama la jis yirang shows.
And so this completes these instructions from Gampopa, which comprise the precious garland of the Supreme Path. And Kimbola said, even though he time of this pandemic, while Kimbola says, it's his hope that there has been benefit in explaining or on the time to listen to these teachings, he deeply rejoices in your virtue.
Tene ta kebjer ke kalema boja hienor che pa ta norwan trowa kang yo ba ten che tene lama yedam paung kanro tene chuka tropo tromo xaban phu gi yigja tsar.
So should probably apologize. I'm sure that there were many mistakes in my translation, so thank you all from my part for your patience and bearing with me. And then Kimbola said he confesses that to his guru, his lama, and his Eastern Dakinis. And so
Sobejaya Membawa, Sawa Zede Memba Yanzo, Sawa Kama Suzame, Zedang Shiryang Kuro Hong, Ha 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 Ha, Banga, Sarva Dadanga Damba Zama Mema Zamba Zabawa Ma Samai, Saido Wa, Jambar Bawe Jadar Jamba Dang, Zambo Deyan Dejen, Dedai Genje Jizo Dalo Je Gewan Dedai Danje Rabdu Ngoi Pama Mary being alien with the disease. There was from every melody, mirror the sinners living. Be instantly and permanently Patadun Jua Me Barjo Chanjo Zenjo Nyamba Me Barya Kone Gondon Bewarjo. May Bodhichitta, the precious and supreme mind, arise not yet arising. Where it is arising, may it not decline, but every increase higher and higher. Yirna ayan dewa shendo kan susan garje riksar, jikdin gom yudan ba partin garjin kuze gajar den. Tembe banja lamme shabe den tenzin je dan nga tang jorba